Thinking deeper about Helldiver's two factions. Episode 1. The Terminids. The past of these creatures is veiled in mystery, but we do know that they are the descendants of the bugs we faced in the First Galactic War. Their history is hardly known to us, but Super-Earth archives suggest that first encounters with the bugs were actually peaceful. But for some unknown reason, the war eventually broke out between us and the Terminid's ancestors. During the First Galactic War, Super-Earth eventually found out that the bodies of these creatures decompose into E710, which is crucial for FTL travel, which is why we didn't exterminate them, but secure them in farms where they can be harvested for their precious element 710. Now, the more experienced Helldivers among you might say that the Terminids look very different to the bugs from the First Galactic War, and that much is true, because Super-Earth scientists genetically altered them to produce more E710. But eventually, of course, they broke out of their farms and started overrunning our colonies, leading to the Second Galactic War. Now, how these bugs spread from planet to planet is unbeknownst to us, but we can speculate. One theory is that every planet invaded by the bugs is just them breaking out of the local E710 farms. But I do not think so, since then outbreaks would occur randomly across the entire galaxy and not just along the front lines. It could also be theorized that the Terminid spread similar to a virus, sneaking onto human vessels unnoticed and hitching a ride to the nearest planets. However, what I personally believe is that they launched their spore into space, where they somehow achieve FTL travel and eventually land on planets along the front lines. The reason I choose to believe this is because of the Purge Terminid Hatcheries missions. As you may have noticed, in the Purge Terminid Hatcheries missions, it says that you are to destroy Terminid X. However, you may wonder, what exactly do these eggs contain, since Terminids themselves seem to be mostly bred underground, hence the bug holes. So what I think these eggs are the initial stages of a Terminid invasion, where the spore from space actually landed and eventually formed into these egg-like structures. Now, at this point, I want to address something that I haven't seen anyone else talk about. While the other two factions may take our planets and build their factories and fortresses on them, the Terminids are different. They terraform the very ground of our worlds, spreading like a sickly infection. They dominate and eventually destroy the ecosystem of every planet they touch, leaving only their own very unique biome. This is why I believe the giant warrior bugs that we see are not the only Terminids out there, and that there are much smaller, maybe even bacterial Terminids that transform every environment they're introduced to exactly suit the needs of the Terminid species. I believe that the quote-unquote eggs in the Purge Hatcheries missions aren't actually eggs, but more like hives of these tiny Terminid bacteria, and that these egg-like structures act as the very starting point of every Terminid invasion. Now, the final stage of a Terminid infestation would probably look similar to the bug supercolony on Meridia. Black rocks form the terrain. A sickly yellowish ooze runs through them like veins. The ground is mostly hollow, littered with tunnels dug by impalers and possibly hive lords. Littered throughout the area are spore spewers and shrieker nests. The air is full of spores and you can't see past a few meters. All other life on the planet has been driven to extinction by the terminid superspecies. The bugs may have once been a peaceful civilization, but no longer. Today, the terminids have no right to exist, except perhaps as a fuel source for our ships. Now, I've been wanting to do this kind of video essay, especially about some sci-fi universe I love, for a long time, and of course this is a very amateur and unprofessional version of a video essay, but I personally think it addresses a topic that I haven't seen anyone else talk about, and of course there's a lot more to talk about with the terminids, but as a first video I think it's okay. I hope I can keep this channel somewhat afloat, but well, we'll see where this goes. Goodbye.